Princess Nira of Zorath had never seen a planet like this. She floated in the observation chamber of her sleek silver spaceship, staring down at the blue and green orb below. The clouds moved slowly over vast oceans, and tiny clusters of lights dotted the continents. This was Earth, a planet full of life, full of humans, and full of mysteries she had come to study. Her robotic assistant, Relo, hovered near her. His metallic body reflected the soft lights of the control panels. "Princess," Relo said in his calm voice, "our landing sequence is ready. The humans are primitive. You should take precautions to blend in." Nira's violet eyes sparkled with excitement. "Precautions are necessary, yes," she said. "But I am eager to see them up close. I have studied them for years through data streams, but I want to observe them with my own senses. I want to understand their emotions, their families, and their way of life." Relo's lenses adjusted, scanning the atmosphere. "Your mission is observation, Princess. Avoid revealing your identity. Humans might panic if they discover we are extraterrestrial. They are unpredictable when surprised." Nira smiled softly. "I am ready, Relo. Let us descend." The spaceship moved smoothly through the atmosphere. Nira felt the pull of gravity as they landed in a small clearing near a forest. Birds flew above, and the air smelled fresh and natural. Nira had never felt anything like this. The air was soft, the ground solid beneath her feet, and life surrounded her in ways her home planet did not allow. On Zorath, everything was controlled, sterile, and precise. Here, everything was alive, and chaos was beautiful. She adjusted her shape-shifting form to resemble a human girl. Her hair was dark brown, her eyes soft green, and her clothes simple, blending in with the nearby village. Relo copied her form to appear human too, though his movements were slightly mechanical. Walking toward the village, Nira observed humans in their daily routines. Some walked quickly with purpose, others laughed as they carried baskets of food. Children played in open fields, chasing each other and tumbling on the grass. Nira's curiosity increased with every step. Humans were fragile in appearance, yet they moved with energy, care, and connection. Her first encounter was at a small marketplace. A human woman sold vegetables while children ran nearby. Nira watched quietly, noting the way the woman smiled at her children, spoke gently, and adjusted their clothing. She tilted her head. Humans cared deeply for one another, even when resources were limited. On Zorath, care was unnecessary. Young were created in controlled chambers, fully developed, and sent into society with no guidance. Humans, Nira realized, were entirely different. Relo spoke softly. "Princess, humans rely on emotion. They invest time and energy into their young. Their reproduction process is slow, but their survival depends on love and care. You may find their methods primitive." Nira shook her head. "Primitive, yes, but fascinating. They experience life fully, unlike Zorathians. Everything we do is efficient, predictable, and sterile. Humans feel joy, sadness, and love in ways I have never experienced. I must understand their reproduction and family bonds. It is unlike anything in the galaxy." As she moved through the village, Nira noticed a small home with smoke rising from the chimney. Through the window, she saw a family. A mother cradled a newborn, humming softly. The father brought water, careful not to spill it, and smiled at the baby. Nira's breath caught. The attention, the care, and the quiet joy were foreign to her. Relo whispered, "Princess, this is a perfect example. Observe but remain hidden. Humans are sensitive about their private lives, especially with children." Nira nodded and shifted closer. She crouched behind a bush, recording every detail in her memory banks. The newborn stirred, and the mother's gentle touch soothed it. Nira watched how the father leaned down to kiss the baby's forehead, whispering words she could not hear but could feel in their tones. The family shared laughter, worry, and tenderness in a rhythm she did not understand but wanted to. "Why do they do this, Rilo?" Nira asked. "Why do they care so much?" On Zorath, a child is born complete and independent. There is no need for emotion, guidance, or love. Relo's mechanical voice was calm. "It is part of their survival strategy, Princess. Humans are weak physically. Their survival depends on cooperation, attachment, and nurturing. They may appear inefficient, but their emotional bonds make them strong." Nira tilted her head. "I cannot imagine spending years caring for a child, teaching it to walk, talk, and think. On Zorath, a young is ready for society immediately. This is slow, uncertain, and messy." She paused. "Yet I feel admiration. They are fragile, yes, but their devotion is beautiful. Their strength is not in their bodies, but in their hearts. The mother looked up suddenly, noticing movement outside. Nira froze, her heart racing. Relo's sensors activated, detecting potential exposure, but instead of fear, Nira waved politely. The mother's eyes widened for a moment, but then softened as she smiled gently and returned to her baby. Nira realized humans could sense emotion even at a distance. Their empathy was subtle, strong, and instinctive. As night approached, Nira returned to the spaceship clearing. She sat quietly processing what she had seen. The humans were nothing like Zorathians. They were slow, vulnerable, and emotional, yet there was something in their weakness that made them astonishingly resilient. Their reproduction, which she had initially considered inefficient, was full of care, emotion, and survival wisdom. Relo hovered beside her. "You have seen enough for today, Princess. Shall we return to our base?" Nira shook her head.
"No, Relo, I want to see more."
"I must understand how humans live, love, and raise their young. There is more to observe. The night is coming, but I will not stop now." The princess returned to the village, moving carefully in the dim light. She observed humans sitting around fires, sharing stories, and keeping children safe. Their laughter echoed in the quiet night, and their voices carried warmth that Nira could feel even from a distance. She wondered about their minds, their emotions, and their ability to connect. On Zorath, thinking was logic. Emotions were a distraction. Here, emotion was the foundation of life. Nira's fascination grew. She wanted to know why humans loved so fiercely, why they sacrificed for one another, and why they devoted themselves to their offspring with such dedication. Later, she hid in the shadow of a tree and watched a father rock his baby to sleep, while the mother prepared a small meal. The baby reached out with tiny hands, and the father responded immediately with care and gentleness. Nira felt something unfamiliar in her chest. It was empathy, awe, and curiosity all at once. "Relo," she whispered, "I do not yet understand everything about reproduction or parenting, but I know one thing. Humans are not weak. They are strong in ways we cannot measure on Zorath. They endure pain, fear, and fatigue to create life. Their devotion is extraordinary." Relo recorded her words. "Princess, your admiration is noted. Perhaps we have underestimated humans. They may appear fragile, but their hearts and bonds give them a type of power we do not possess." Nira nodded, her mind racing with questions. She wanted to learn more about human families, human love, and human life. Tomorrow she would observe a school, a playground, and perhaps another family. She wanted to understand reproduction not only as a biological process, but as a force that shaped humanity itself. For the first time, Princess Nira felt that studying humans might not only teach her about them, but also about herself and her society. On Zorath, life was precise, controlled, and sterile. Here it was messy, emotional, and unpredictable, yet full of beauty. As she returned to the spaceship, Nira made a silent promise. She would uncover the secrets of human life, experience their world closely, and learn how reproduction, love, and care could make a species survive against all odds. The night settled over the village, and the lights of human homes twinkled softly. Princess Nira felt a spark of hope and excitement. She was beginning a journey that would change her forever. The morning sun rose over the village, casting golden light on the fields and small houses. Princess Nira awoke in her hidden spot near the forest. Her violet eyes sparkled with curiosity. Today, she decided she would move closer to the humans and try to learn more about their daily lives, especially about how they cared for their young. Relo hovered beside her, its metallic frame gleaming in the soft morning light. "Princess, humans will be more active today. Observation may be challenging if they notice you. Shall we proceed?" Nira nodded. "Yes, Relo, but today I want to understand them directly. I want to observe the family bonds, how parents interact with their children, and how reproduction affects their lives." They approached a small house at the edge of the village. The roof was made of wooden shingles, and the walls were painted a warm beige. Smoke curled from the chimney, and laughter drifted through the open windows. Nira crouched behind a tree, adjusting her appearance to look even more like a human child, blending into the scene naturally. Inside the house, a young couple was preparing breakfast. The mother, a gentle-looking woman named Mara, carried a small infant wrapped in a soft blanket. The father, Lior, was arranging food on the table, careful not to spill the steaming porridge. Nira watched quietly, her mind racing with questions. "Relo," she whispered, "look at how they care for the baby. Every movement is deliberate. They are tired, yet their actions are full of patience and love. Why do they do this? Rilo observed through his sensors. It is part of human survival, Princess. The newborn is helpless. Without care, it cannot survive. Humans bond with their young through attention, touch, and emotion. Their devotion ensures the child grows and learns. Nira tilted her head. On Zorath, children are ready for society at birth. They do not need guidance or affection. This is inefficient but powerful in a different way. The baby began to cry softly. Mara immediately picked it up, rocking it gently and humming a soft tune. The sound of her voice calmed the child, and Nira watched in fascination. The father stepped closer, placing a hand on the mother's shoulder. Together they soothed the baby, coordinating their movements without speaking much. Nira felt a strange warmth in her chest. She had never experienced such closeness or care. She realized that humans invested themselves entirely in their offspring. Every act, every touch, every word had meaning. The fragility of humans made them strong in ways Zorathians could not understand. She stepped slightly closer, curious to hear their voices. The mother spoke softly, explaining to the baby, "It's okay, little one. We are here. You are safe with us." The father added, "You are loved always. We will help you grow strong." Nira's mind tried to process these words. On Zorath, no words were needed. Children learned facts and skills instantly. Love, reassurance, and emotion were unnecessary. Yet here words were as important as actions. They strengthened bonds and gave meaning to life. Suddenly, the father looked toward the window. Nira froze, unsure if she had been seen. But Lior smiled at nothing in particular and returned to his tasks. Nira exhaled silently. Humans sensed the world around them with awareness and empathy. Their perception was subtle but powerful. After a few minutes, Nira moved even closer, sitting on a low fence nearby. She observed the couple feeding their child, changing its clothes and gently correcting its movements. Each step was slow but purposeful. The parents were patient with every small mistake, guiding the child with care. "Rilo," Nira whispered. "Their strength is not in their bodies. It is in their hearts. They endure fatigue, discomfort, and worry, yet they continue to nurture and protect. I do not fully understand, but I am beginning to admire them deeply." Rilo's sensors recorded her observations. "Princess, your analysis is correct. Humans' survival strategy depends on emotion, devotion, and connection. What seems inefficient is actually a form of resilience. Their care strengthens the child's ability to survive and adapt." Nira nodded, her eyes never leaving the family. She wanted to know everything: how humans learned to care, how they taught their young, and why they devoted themselves so completely. She considered approaching them, but her training reminded her to be cautious. Direct contact could alarm them. Still, curiosity pushed her forward. She stepped slightly out from behind the fence, lowering her head respectfully. The mother noticed a movement and looked up. Their eyes met briefly. Nira held her gaze, showing calm and harmless intent. Mara's expression softened, and she returned to the baby without alarm. Nira felt relief and a growing connection to these humans. The father, Lior, spoke to his wife. "I am glad we are together in this. The child will grow up knowing we are always here." Mara nodded. Their words were simple but carried depth. Nira recorded every detail in her mind. Humans' emotional communication was a complex, invisible system that connected them in ways even advanced technology could not replicate. By midday, Nira had been observing for hours. She watched the family interact with neighbors, share small meals, and care for the baby through naps and playtime. Every moment was filled with attention, concern, and connection. Nira realized that humans' emotional involvement made their species resilient. They faced danger, illness, and fatigue, but continued to nurture the next generation. "Rilo," Nira said softly, "their reproduction is not just about biology. It is about love, sacrifice, and persistence. The baby is weak, but the family is strong. I see now that their society grows because of these bonds, not in spite of them." Rilo's sensors whirred. "You are correct, Princess. Emotional strength is as important as physical ability. Humans may appear fragile, but their devotion gives them a hidden power." As the day ended, Nira moved to a quiet spot near the house, reflecting on what she had learned. Humans lived with uncertainty, danger, and imperfection, yet they thrived. Their reproduction was slow, but every parent invested time, energy, and emotion into their children. This care ensured the survival of the species. Nira could not help but feel admiration. That evening, she observed the father rocking the baby to sleep while the mother prepared a small meal for them. The baby reached out and Lior responded immediately, showing patience and gentleness. Nira felt a new emotion stirring within her. It was a combination of empathy, curiosity, and awe. Human's devotion was unlike anything she had known on Zorath. She whispered to Rilo, "I wish to understand more. I must see how different families live, how cultures shape care, and how humans express love. Their reproduction is not just a biological act. It is a journey of emotion, resilience, and identity." Rilo nodded. "Princess, your enthusiasm is noted. Humans' approach may be inefficient from a purely logical perspective, but their emotional strength is undeniable. Observing more families will provide a deeper understanding." Nira smiled. "Yes, Rilo. Tomorrow we will visit a school and meet more families. I want to learn their ways. Perhaps I will even speak to some of them. My understanding of reproduction, parenting, and life itself will grow." As night fell, Nira remained near the village, watching lights flicker in the windows. Families sat together, shared meals, and cared for their children. The warmth of human bonds filled the air in ways her advanced sensors could detect but her heart could feel. Nira reflected on her day. On Zorath, life was efficient but cold. Children were born complete, trained, and independent. Emotion was unnecessary. On Earth, humans were fragile but extraordinary. Their reproduction, filled with effort, care, and love, shaped them into a species capable of enduring every challenge. For the first time, Nira understood that strength did not only come from power or speed. It came from the heart, from dedication, and from the willingness to care for others despite weakness. She felt inspired, amazed, and determined to continue her study. Before returning to her hidden base for the night, Nira whispered to Rilo, "Human life is more than I imagined. Their reproduction is not weak. It is the foundation of resilience. Tomorrow I will see more. I will learn everything about how they live and grow, so that I can understand the true strength of humanity." The stars shone above, and the sounds of the village quieted for the night. Nira sat silently, absorbing everything she had observed. The humans, in all their imperfection, had shown her a new form of power. It was not a power of speed, strength, or technology. It was the power of love, care, and persistence. Princess Nira knew this was only the beginning. The journey to understand human reproduction, family, and emotion had just begun. She felt a spark of excitement for what she would discover next, knowing that every step would bring her closer to understanding the remarkable resilience of humans. The next morning, Princess Nira awoke before dawn. The light of Zorath's distant suns had been replaced by the soft glow of Earth's early sunlight. She felt a strange excitement she had never known on her home planet. Yesterday's observations had changed her perspective. Humans were not weak. They were strong in ways that Zorathians could not understand. Rilo hovered beside her. "Princess, our mission continues. Today we should explore human society more broadly. Observing families alone will not provide full understanding. Schools, playgrounds, and community gatherings will offer insight into their culture, growth, and social bonds." Nira nodded. "Yes, Rilo. I want to see how they learn, interact, and share life. Yesterday showed me their strength. Today I will understand why they are able to thrive despite apparent weaknesses." They moved toward the village center, where children were already gathering near a schoolhouse. Nira adjusted her form to blend in as a young human, her hair pulled back and clothes simple. Rilo followed, disguising himself as a tall, quiet companion. Nira observed the children laughing and running toward the building. Their energy was remarkable, and their interactions were full of subtle gestures and emotions. Some greeted friends with smiles and hugs, others ran after a bouncing ball, and a few stood shyly at the edge, unsure how to join in. "Rilo," Nira whispered, "look at their social behavior. They are small and weak, yet they cooperate, play, and communicate complex feelings through gestures and words. Their ability to adapt socially is part of their strength." Rilo's sensors confirmed her observations. "Indeed, Princess, humans rely on social cohesion. Emotional intelligence is as important to them as physical ability. Their upbringing and interactions shape survival and resilience." Nira stepped closer to observe a group of children drawing pictures on the ground with chalk. A teacher, A kind-looking woman named Alina moved among them, guiding their hands and praising their efforts. The children beamed with pride when their work was acknowledged. Nira tilted her head. On Zorath, learning was instant. Children absorbed information through direct neural downloads and displayed competence immediately. Here, learning was slow, filled with errors, corrections, and encouragement. Yet there was beauty in it. Every mistake was a chance to grow, every smile a signal of success. Nira realized this was another form of strength. After some time, Nira moved toward the playground. She watched children climb structures, swing on swings, and interact in groups. Some fell and cried, and others rushed to help. Adults nearby guided and comforted the children, not just physically but emotionally. Nira's mind recorded every detail. Humans nurtured empathy and collaboration from the earliest age. Rilo spoke softly. Princess, their reproduction is only part of their society's strength. Education, social interaction, and emotional guidance build resilience. Each child develops in a network of care that extends beyond the immediate family. Nira nodded. Yes, Rilo, it is remarkable. Their bonds extend into the community. Strength is created not only in the family, but in the shared responsibility of neighbors, teachers, and friends. Every human supports another in subtle ways. Later, Nira wandered into the village market. She observed parents guiding older children, teaching them how to buy food, barter, and interact politely with others. The parents were patient and careful, correcting mistakes gently. Nira noticed the children learned not only practical skills but also trust, respect, and consideration for others. A mother, holding a baby in a sling, guided her older daughter as they selected fruit. Choose carefully, she said. Check if it is fresh. This will teach you responsibility and patience. Nira recorded the exchange. The mother was teaching life skills while also expressing care and emotion. Humans combined education with nurturing seamlessly. By midday, Nira had met a few adults who spoke briefly with her, mistaking her for a visiting child from another village. She was careful, asking questions indirectly about families, how they cared for children, and what challenges they faced. The adults spoke openly about joy, exhaustion, and love. Nira was struck by how deeply humans accepted responsibility and embraced emotion as part of their lives. She whispered to Rilo, "Every parent I have observed carries fatigue, worry, and effort, yet they continue. Their emotional energy is endless. It sustains the child, the family, and the community. It is unlike anything on Zorath." Rilo noted, "Their emotional energy is indeed remarkable. Humans combine biological reproduction with societal guidance. They build networks of care that enhance survival beyond pure biology. Observation confirms that emotional attachment and nurturing are central to their resilience." After observing the market, Nira decided to explore a community gathering in the village square. People had set up tables and families were sharing food and stories. Children played nearby, watched and guided by adults. Laughter and conversation filled the air. Nira felt warmth in her chest. This sense of community was a strength humans carried everywhere. A small child tripped while running. An older boy rushed to help, gently lifting the child and checking for injury. Nearby adults noticed and praised the effort. Nira's mind noted the lessons humans taught without explicit instruction. Cooperation, kindness, and empathy were learned through observation, practice, and encouragement. She whispered to Rilo again, "I understand now. Human reproduction is only part of their strength. Their culture, education, and community bonds multiply the effects of care. Every parent, teacher, and neighbor contributes to the growth of the young. This is why they endure." Rilo tilted slightly. Observation suggests that humans' emotional investment increases survival and resilience. Unlike Zorathians, who rely solely on controlled biology, humans integrate emotional guidance into every aspect of life. Their strength lies in unpredictability and care. As the day drew to a close, Nira found herself sitting quietly on a bench near the village pond. Ducks swam lazily on the water while children skipped stones. Parents watched nearby, sharing stories and laughter. Nira reflected on everything she had seen: families, schools, playgrounds, markets, and community gatherings. Each moment showed humans investing themselves emotionally, socially, and physically into the lives of others. She realized that human reproduction was inseparable from culture. Parents did not only produce children, they nurtured them, taught them, and guided them into society. Love and care were essential parts of survival. Weakness in one area was balanced by strength in another. Humans' emotional complexity allowed them to thrive in environments where physical ability alone would fail. Relo hovered beside her. Princess, your observations today indicate a pattern. Humans integrate family, culture, and community into one cohesive system. Their reproduction is part of a broader strategy of survival. Emotion and care are as important as biological ability. Nira nodded slowly. Yes, Relo. Their approach may appear messy, inefficient, and slow. Yet it works. Humans endure, adapt, and grow stronger through emotional bonds. They are extraordinary. She took a deep breath, absorbing the sounds of laughter, conversation, and gentle scolding from parents guiding children. Everything was alive with energy, warmth, and care. Nira felt an unfamiliar sense of connection. She was beginning to understand humans not just as a species but as a network of hearts and minds. I want to study more, she said softly. Tomorrow I will visit another village and meet more families. I want to see how culture, tradition, and emotion shape reproduction in different settings. Humans may teach me lessons I never expected. Relo scanned the area. Princess, your plan is reasonable. Observation of multiple communities will enhance understanding. Humans' methods differ across cultures, yet the underlying principle of emotional investment remains consistent. Nira smiled faintly. Yes, Relo. Their methods may vary, but love, care, and devotion are universal. That is the key to their resilience. I must understand this fully. It may teach me about humans, but it may also teach me about life itself. As evening fell, Nira returned to her hidden base. She reviewed all her observations, recording notes on family interactions, school routines, community support, and parental care. Every detail reinforced her growing respect for humans. They were fragile, yes, but their strength was invisible, flowing through bonds of love, guidance, and shared responsibility. For the first time, Nira felt a spark of inspiration for her own society. Perhaps there were lessons Zorathians could learn. On her planet, life was efficient but sterile. Emotion was controlled and often suppressed. Here, emotion was the foundation of survival, and it made humans remarkable. She looked out at the stars above. Earth seemed small from her vantage point, but the life she had witnessed was vast, complex, and powerful. She understood now that human reproduction was not merely a biological process. It was a social, emotional, and cultural phenomenon that shaped every aspect of life. Nira whispered to Relo, humans endure not because they are physically strong, but because they care, teach, and nurture. Their reproduction is only one part of a system that makes them extraordinary. I will continue to study them. There is much more to learn. The next morning, Princess Nira awoke with a sense of purpose. Her observations over the past 2 days had already changed her understanding of humans. She had witnessed their daily routines, their education, and the ways they interacted in communities. Yet today she wanted to go deeper. She wanted to see the struggles, the challenges, and the emotional bonds that shaped human life in ways her studies had never shown her. Relo hovered nearby. Princess, where shall we go today? Observation of different families will provide further insight into human reproduction and emotional bonds. Nira thought for a moment. There is a young couple living at the edge of the village. They have been trying to have a child for some time. I want to observe their lives and understand their emotions, their hopes, and their struggles. This will show me another side of human life. Relo's sensors activated. Princess, caution is advised. Emotional states are unpredictable. Humans experiencing disappointment or stress may react strongly if exposed. Nira nodded. I will be careful, Relo. I want to learn not just from their joys but also from their difficulties. Strength is revealed in adversity as much as in comfort. The spaceship landed quietly in a nearby clearing. Nira adjusted her appearance to blend in as a human woman and approached the small house with Relo by her side. The house looked modest with a thatched roof and small garden. She could see the couple through a window. The man, named Taryn, was tending to the garden while the woman, Lena, sat at a table with papers scattered in front of her. Both wore expressions of concern and exhaustion. Nira hid behind a tree, observing them closely. She could sense their anxiety, the quiet tension in their movements. Unlike other families she had studied, this couple had not yet succeeded in having a child, and their longing was palpable. Their patience was tested daily, and yet they persisted. Relo whispered, Princess, this is an important observation. Humans face difficulties in reproduction, yet their perseverance and emotional connection are strong. Their strength is revealed through struggle. Nira tilted her head, watching Lena rub her forehead and sigh. Rilo, observe how deeply emotions affect them. Their biology alone does not define them. Their devotion and hope shape their actions and strengthen their bond. This is something Zorathians do not experience. We do not understand endurance through emotional effort. She stepped closer, careful to remain unnoticed. Through the window, she saw Terran gently place his hand on Lena's shoulder. "We will try again tomorrow," he said softly. "I know it will happen when the time is right. We must stay together and support each other." Lena nodded, tears welling in her eyes. Nira felt a strange sensation in her chest, a mixture of empathy and admiration. The princess realized that reproduction for humans was more than biology. It was hope, trust, and patience. It was shared struggle and mutual support. These elements made humans resilient in ways her own people could not comprehend. As the day progressed, Nira observed the couple performing daily chores together. Their movements synchronized despite their worry. They shared meals in silence at times, their eyes conveying understanding and comfort. Nira noted how humans communicated emotions not just through words but through small gestures, touches, and expressions. Every act reinforced their bond and prepared them for the challenges of raising a child. Rilo spoke softly. "Princess, humans' emotional investment may seem inefficient, yet it strengthens relationships, improves communication, and prepares them for parenting. Their struggles are part of the system that creates resilience." Nira nodded. "Yes, Rilo, their struggles do not weaken them. They strengthen their bond, their perseverance, and their understanding. Emotion transforms difficulty into endurance. I am beginning to understand the depth of human reproduction." In the afternoon, Nira moved to the village center to observe other families and community interactions. She noticed parents helping children with tasks, guiding them gently and offering encouragement. Some children were learning to read, others to cook simple meals, and others still were learning to care for younger siblings. In every interaction, Nira saw patience, love, and subtle correction. Humans invested effort and emotion into every moment of growth. She watched a father teaching his son how to lift a basket of water without spilling it. "Steady now," he said. "Feel the weight and adjust slowly. You will learn." The boy struggled, but the father encouraged him patiently. Nira realized this was similar to reproduction itself. Humans guided their young through trial, error, and instruction, ensuring that each child would survive and thrive. Rilo noted, "Princess, humans integrate care, teaching, and guidance into daily life. Their reproduction includes emotional and social development. Their system is holistic, combining biological, emotional, and social elements." Nira agreed. "Yes, Rilo, every act of care strengthens their society. They endure hardships, teach lessons, and create resilient individuals. Strength is not just physical or technological. It is emotional and social as well." Later, Nira returned to the couple at the edge of the village. She watched them sitting outside, holding hands and talking quietly as the sun began to set. Their conversation was soft, almost inaudible, but their expressions conveyed determination, hope, and love. Nira felt a profound admiration for them. For the first time, she questioned her own society. On Zorath, children were produced through controlled technology, born complete and independent. Love and struggle were absent. Perfection was guaranteed, yet life felt cold and mechanical. Observing these humans, Nira realized that imperfection, struggle, and emotion were what made life meaningful. She whispered to Rilo, "Perhaps Zorathians have strength and efficiency, but we lack depth. Humans endure because they care, because they hope, because they persist. Their struggles create resilience, connection, and meaning." As night fell, Nira hid in the forest and reflected on the day. She had witnessed hope, perseverance, and devotion in action. She had felt empathy and admiration for humans in a way that she could not have predicted. She realized that understanding human reproduction required more than biology. It required understanding hearts, minds, and society. Rilo hovered quietly. "Princess, your observations indicate a personal revelation. You are beginning to value human emotion and resilience. This understanding may influence your perspective on Zorathian life." Nira nodded, her eyes focused on the glowing village lights. "Yes, Rilo. Humans endure challenges, care for one another, and create life with love and patience. Their reproduction is a journey of hope and connection, I want to learn more. I want to understand all aspects of their lives so that I can fully appreciate their strength. She recalled the faces of the young couple, their expressions of longing, patience, and unwavering support for one another. These small acts, repeated daily, were powerful. Humans invested everything in creating life, shaping it with care and devotion. Nira understood that this was the true source of their resilience. Before returning to her hidden base, Nira observed one final scene. A mother was teaching her daughter how to sew, while the father read a story to their son. The children laughed and learned at the same time. Nira realized that life for humans was layered with emotion, education, and care. Each small action contributed to survival, growth, and strength. Nira whispered, "Every gesture, every smile, every word strengthens humans. Their reproduction is only the beginning. Life itself is nurtured with love and effort. I never imagined that fragility could create such power." Rilo recorded her thoughts. "Princess, your understanding is deepening. Human strength is inseparable from their emotion, culture, and perseverance. Observation confirms that their resilience is extraordinary." Nira felt a warmth in her chest, a mixture of admiration and inspiration. She had begun to see humans not just as a species to study, but as a model of emotional strength, perseverance, and meaningful connection. Their reproductive struggles, their hopes, and their devotion were all part of what made them extraordinary. As she rested for the night, Nira made a silent promise to herself. She would continue her study of humans, observing families, communities, and culture. She would learn everything she could about how humans endure, care, and thrive. The lessons she gained would not only deepen her understanding of humanity, but also challenge her perceptions of her own society. Nira closed her eyes, feeling a sense of purpose she had never known. She had witnessed the power of hope, love, and devotion in human reproduction and family life. Tomorrow she would continue her journey, uncovering more of the hidden strengths that made humans remarkable. For the first time, Princess Nira felt that she was not only observing humans but also learning from them. Their lives, their struggles, and their bonds had revealed a form of power she had never known. A strength that came not from efficiency or control but from love, patience, and persistence. And she knew that this understanding would change her forever. The spaceship descended from the sky, returning Princess Nira and Rilo to Zorath. The familiar silver spires and controlled environment of her home planet stretched out before her. Everything was precise, efficient, and orderly, yet the colors felt dull, the air sterile. After days on Earth, Nira could not stop thinking about humans, their energy, emotion, and resilience. Rilo hovered beside her, his sensors scanning for anomalies. "Princess, the data collected on Earth is extensive. You have observed humans' reproductive methods, family structures, and community systems. Analysis suggests that their strength derives from emotional bonds as much as biological processes." Nira nodded. "Yes, Rilo. Humans endure danger, fatigue, and uncertainty, yet they persist. Their children are helpless at birth, yet through care, love, and guidance they grow into strong, capable individuals. Their emotional commitment is a form of strength we have never experienced." The spaceship landed in the royal complex. Nira stepped onto Zorathian soil, feeling the cool engineered surfaces beneath her feet. The grand hall of the Royal Council awaited, filled with elders and advisors. They had expected reports on Earth's resources, climate, and technology. Instead, Nira prepared to present something more profound, an understanding of life itself. The council members rose as she entered. High Priestess Vera spoke first. "Princess Nira, what have you learned from Earth? Are their sciences advanced? Are their technologies superior to ours?" Nira bowed respectfully. "Honorable Council, humans are not technologically superior. Their bodies are fragile, and their civilization is slower than ours. Yet their strength lies elsewhere. I have observed their families, their children, and their societies. Humans endure because they care. Their reproduction is not merely biological, it is emotional, social, and cultural. They invest themselves in their young, their communities, and each other." The council murmured. Zorathians valued efficiency and perfection above all. Emotion was often considered weakness. One advisor, Lord Kale, frowned. "You speak of emotion, Princess. Are you suggesting that inefficiency and vulnerability are strengths?" Nira met his gaze firmly. "Yes, Lord Kale. Humans' emotional investment creates resilience. They struggle, hope, love, and persist. Their children are born helpless, yet through care, guidance, and devotion, they grow into capable individuals. This is their power. They survive because of their hearts, not their technology. High Priestess Vera leaned forward. Explain further, Princess. How does this affect their reproduction and society? Nira took a deep breath. Their reproduction is only the beginning. Families nurture children with patience and love. Schools and communities teach skills and empathy. Emotional bonds strengthen the species. Each act of care, each expression of hope, contributes to survival. Their society thrives not because they are perfect, but because they endure together. The council fell silent. Some members shifted uncomfortably. The idea that vulnerability and emotion could create strength was foreign. On Zorath, life was controlled, precise, and sterile. Yet Nira's observations were compelling. Her recordings, her notes, and her experiences could not be dismissed. Lord Kale spoke again. And you propose that we emulate this human model? That we embrace imperfection, emotion, and struggle? Nira shook her head slightly. I do not propose imitation. Humans are unique. Their way of life suits their biology and environment. But I believe we can learn from them. We can value care, empathy, and patience. We can see that strength is not only physical, intellectual, or technological. It is emotional, and it can be cultivated. The council considered her words. High Priestess Vera was thoughtful. Your observations are profound, Princess. Perhaps our understanding of strength has been limited. Humans' perseverance, devotion, and emotional resilience may hold lessons for Zorath. Nira nodded, feeling a sense of accomplishment. I have seen families endure struggle, hope despite setbacks, and nurture life with devotion. Their reproduction and parenting create bonds that shape the next generation. This is the foundation of their strength. We may not replicate it, but we can recognize its value. Lord Kale looked unconvinced. Emotion is unpredictable. It can lead to chaos. Are you certain this is a path to strength? Nira's voice was steady. Yes, Lord Kale. Imperfection and struggle are part of survival. Humans face uncertainty, yet they persist. Their devotion strengthens them and their children. Chaos does not weaken them. It teaches them to adapt and care for one another. This is their true power. High Priestess Vera nodded slowly. Princess Nira, your journey has brought insight beyond technology and biology. Humans endure because of love, hope, and persistence. Their weakness is also their strength. Nira felt a warmth in her chest. Her admiration for humanity had grown into understanding. She realized that humans' approach to life was not chaotic or weak. It was purposeful, resilient, and profoundly strong. Their reproduction, family bonds, and community care created a foundation that allowed them to survive challenges that would destroy less connected species. After the council meeting, Nira returned to her private chambers. She reviewed her recordings and notes, reflecting on everything she had observed. She thought of families, children, schools, and community gatherings. She remembered the young couple who had struggled to have a child and how their hope, patience, and love had endured. She thought of the laughter of children in the village and the quiet guidance of teachers and neighbors. Rilo hovered silently. Princess, your understanding of human society has deepened. You now recognize the strength in emotional bonds and the power of nurturing. This knowledge may influence our culture if applied thoughtfully. Nira smiled faintly. Yes, Rilo. Humans survive not because of efficiency or perfection, but because they endure together. Their reproduction and care are inseparable from their survival. We have much to learn about the value of emotional connection. The princess looked out at the stars above Zorath. Earth shone like a small blue gem in the distance. She felt respect, admiration, and a new sense of purpose. Humans had taught her that life was more than rules, precision, or control. Life was also love, patience, and devotion. These were strengths that could not be measured by technology or efficiency. She made a decision. While Zorath would not become like Earth, she would begin small changes within her society. Emotional guidance, empathy, and care could be encouraged. She would teach her people that strength could come from the heart, not just the mind or body. That evening, she visited a garden within the palace grounds. Flowers bloomed in careful patterns, but their beauty felt sterile compared to the vibrant chaos of Earth. Nira knelt among them, imagining children playing, parents guiding, and communities thriving. She could see a future where Zorathians valued connection, hope, and perseverance as part of their culture. Rilo observed her quietly. Princess, are you considering implementing lessons learned from humans into Zorathian life? Nira nodded slowly. Yes, Relo. Not copying them, but recognizing the value of emotional resilience. Love, hope, and patience are powerful tools. We can teach these to our people, just as humans teach their young. Strength is not only control, it is also connection. She spent the night reviewing her observations and planning. Her mind was alive with ideas. Perhaps Zorath could cultivate emotional resilience alongside efficiency. Perhaps children could experience guidance, care, and patience in ways that would strengthen them in unexpected ways. Nira realized that humans had shown her an entirely new form of power, one that could transform societies. The next morning, Nira addressed the royal court again, this time with a proposal. Honorable Council, she began, my observations of humans have revealed a form of strength we have never valued. Emotional bonds, hope, and care are essential to survival. I propose we begin programs to cultivate empathy, patience, and guidance among our young. This will complement our technological and intellectual strengths, creating a society more resilient than ever before. The council members listened carefully. Some were skeptical, but others nodded thoughtfully. High Priestess Vera spoke. Princess Nira, your journey has brought wisdom beyond observation. Your insight into human strength is valuable. We will consider your proposal carefully. Perhaps the lessons of Earth can enhance the future of Zorath. Nira bowed, feeling a sense of fulfillment. She had not only learned about humans, but she had also gained insight into life itself. Humans' reproduction, their struggles, and their devotion had shown her that weakness and vulnerability could be a source of extraordinary strength. She thought of the families she had observed, the children learning, the parents guiding, and the communities supporting each other. Every act of care, every expression of love, and every moment of perseverance had created resilience. Humans were remarkable not because they were perfect, but because they persisted together. As she walked through the palace corridors, Nira felt a new sense of purpose. Her journey to Earth had changed her understanding of life. She had seen that strength could be emotional, communal, and deeply human. She vowed to bring this lesson to her people, to inspire them to value connection as much as control.